Alright guys, welcome back to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. My name is Raven from the Sky. Let's do this. Okay, so we keep getting bad ending after bad ending after bad ending. But see, I think I jumped to Stanley. I did jump to Stanley. I didn't really see his time chart out, Kano's. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back. And then I'm gonna go to Aichi, finish his. I think they all have to end up at the lab somehow. That's what I'm starting to think. And then the game ends. Pulling out his cell phone, Kano dialed up Osawa. Stanley, okay. Looks like we'll be able to have that beer together after all. But Osawa didn't answer. Kano guessed immediately that something was amiss. Detective. Aichi's voice was full of worry. I've got Stanley on the line. He says that Detective Tatino... Are you kidding me? Bad ending again. Kano didn't get to hear the rest of it. Oh my god! The light has certainly had... I know. We got the password. As he was losing consciousness, Kano continued to rack his brain. But he found no answers. What on earth, man? A mysterious explosion again! Make it to the lab in no time. Phone rang again. Stanley. What's going on? He asked the American. Listen carefully, your life may depend on it. I'm going to ask you some questions. If the answer is yes, say that's right. If it's no, reply what we'll do. For a moment, Tateno was bewildered. In the urgency Stanley's voice, however, he realized that there was some kind of emergency. That's right, he said after a moment's thought, and only to let Stanley know that he understood the code. Is Kanan with you right now? That's right. That Kanan is an imposter. Tatino gripped his phone more tightly, hoping it would stop the trembling in his hand. It's her, Stanley said. She's Alphard. The detective had to stifle a gasp of alarm. I don't have time to fill you in on the details, but I've got some pretty incontrovertible evidence. You need to turn back now. Tino struggled to come to terms with with what he just heard. He glanced at Kanan through the rearview mirror. She was holding Maria tightly in her arms. Was this really all an act on her part? And if so, why? There was only one possible reason. If Kanan really was Alfred, and she had only one goal. She was pretending to help Maria in order to get into the lab, where she would be able to steal the antiviral. But wait, hold on. Kanan was Maria's friend, wasn't she? Yeah, but there's a different Kanan in the picture, and she has amnesia. That's why I said, man, it's gotta be her. She's Alfred. Hitomi had said as much herself. Kanan is my sister's friend. Maria certainly knew what her own friend looked like. And since it was... Okay, see, now I'm just confused. And since it was obvious that Maria might be present, it didn't make sense for a clever imposter to pretend to be Kanan. Or did it? When Kanan showed up on the roof of South Hill, making her surprise attack on Tatino, Maria had taken off down the staircase without ever looking back. And when she turned up at Indo Electronics workroom, Maria had already collapsed and fallen unconscious. Tatino felt the chill spreading through his body. It is her. As far as he knew, Maria had never actually seen the girl who was now sitting in the back seat. True. Because remember when you try to rush in, when you first get to Indo, she pulls you back when you're Kano. But then, what about Hitomi? Shouldn't she have known what Kanan looked like? Or does she just know the name and going off of, okay, that's her name's Kanan and that's Kanan, so that's my sister's friend. If she doesn't know what she looks like, then she's just gonna go with it. If she only knows her by name. That's Alphard. Tatino tried to remember just what Hitomi had said. Kanan is my sister's friend. I just met her for the first time today. Oh. If they never met each other before today, then maybe Hitomi didn't know what the real Kanan looked like. Exactly. That was the only explanation that made sense. We've had to stop her from I think she put bombs in place. We have to stop her. I think that's who's setting off the bombs, because we've got the fake Alphard in custody. Kano does. I'm saying we as if I'm in the darn game. Hey, Tatino, are you still with me? That's right. Stanley sounded like he was on the verge of panic. At any rate, we need to find a way to turn back without her realizing what's going on. Okay, see, now I get it. That's why I keep getting bad endings. We have to keep her, or somehow stall or something. Even if Kanan really was Alpha, Tatino had to keep heading toward the lab. He went over the coded responses in his head. Yes. If that's right, no, it will do. Will do, he said. Save Maria is your top priority, isn't it? That's right, Tatino affirmed. All right then. Guess I'll have to head that way myself. In the meantime, do not let her inside that lab. That's right. Tatino hung up. Who was that? Kanan asked. Tatino felt his heart skip a beat. That was Kuze. The cop from earlier. He tried to keep his voice as level as possible. He was worried about us and wanted to check up. Ah, okay. Kanan muttered, sounding disinterested. Tatino could only hope she hadn't guessed the truth. It felt like the specter of death himself was breathing down his neck. At last, the minivan arrived at Okoshi Pharmaceutical. Well, but then again, you can't turn around without her knowing. That's why he said we'll do, because she'll just be like, where are we going? Why are we turning around? Then what are you going to say? You have to go to the lab. Tatino pulled up at the front gate and got out of the vehicle. See, that's why we got the bad ending last time, because he didn't know that Tatino was the, what's her name? Now we know. So we should get a different outcome. If not, I'm stuck in the loop. Off to one side of the entrance was the intercom for a contact in the security room. I'm assuming you've already heard the details from the director. Tatino barked in the intercom. Open up. Okay, see, we've already saw this. And he's gonna, Osawa's gonna show up. His wife's gonna call in a favor, get him in. Tatino racked his brain for other ideas. Maybe they'd have to climb the gate and break their way in. Then over the intercom, they heard the sound of a phone ringing in the security room. The security guard answered it without muting the intercom speaker. Muting, I said mudding. Faintly audible. It's let him in. Why? Yep. Man, really was Alfred. Tatino couldn't. Uh-huh. You think? But without getting that lock open, there was no way of getting Maria to the antiviral she needed to survive. See, now it's a catch-22. What was the right call? Here we go. Executive decision. Should he still pretend to be in the dark and let Kanan try to hack the password? He was going to have to let her into the lab. They couldn't go anywhere until Stanley got there. I'm going to go with B because that's what Stanley said. Stall. I think I'm going to go with B and see where it goes, because it seems like that's how I got the bad ending in the first place. When we originally was playing through his time arc, she got to the lab and hacked through there, and then the darn thing blew up. So I'm going to go with B, see what happens. They couldn't go anywhere until Stanley got there. Tatino knew exactly what he needed to do. What's the matter? Osawa turned and cast a look of confusion back at Tatino and Kanan, both of whom had stopped in their tracks. Well, we'll wait out here, Tatino said. But, I mean, isn't Kanan going to hack the password? There's been a slight change of plans. Go ahead and wait for us in the lab, Director. Alright. But we don't have much time before Maria develops symptoms. I'll be inside. Please don't keep me waiting too long. With Maria in his arms and a worried look on his face, Osawa hurried through the gate and disappeared from view. What do you think you're doing? Kanan asked. Oh! Stiffening as Tatino nudged the barrel of the gun against her spine. You're Alphard, aren't you? I have no idea what you're talking about. It's no use trying to play dumb. Stanley found proof. What? Darn it! She cartwheeled away at a blinding speed, too quick for Tatino to keep a bead on her. By the time she'd righted herself, she'd already drawn a gun of her own. Abruptly, he found himself facing her in a stare down. Abruptly, he found himself facing her in a stare down, weapons aimed at one another. Then Kanan's phone rang, and she reached to answer it. Don't move, Tatino roared. Did you forget the plan? That might be Hitomi calling. Oh, so this is why she couldn't answer the phone as well. Either the explosion that's a bad ending or this situation. I don't care, don't you move. If Kanan really was Alphard, the whole plan might be a sham. Tatino kept the barrel of his gun squarely on its mark. Kanan let out a little sigh. Have you considered that Stanley might be lying to you? Yes, it's possible, but I need to make sure we avoid a worst-case scenario. If you don't let me into the lab, who's going to hack the password? We've got your little decoy. My friends will get the fake Alfred to cough up the password. Once her phone had stopped ringing, Kanan sighed again. And what about Stanley then? Oh, can't jump yet. Is he on his way here? Who knows? Tatino said. At that, Kanan lowered her gun. She seemed disturbingly full of confidence. Kanan flipped over her cell phone. Who do you think you're calling? Tatino adjusted his aim, pointing his gun at the young woman's head. Look, I'm going to call Hitomi and have her clear up these suspicions you have about me. We don't have time for this right now. Wouldn't you agree? Kanan stared back at Tatino, cell phone in hand, waiting for his reply. It doesn't matter what Hitomi says. I trust my own judgment. Stop. This is the sort of nonsense we don't have time for right now. Oh my God, here we go again. She could press a detonator. It could be a detonator on it in the phone. Kanan shook her head and put her phone away. If you're really Alphard, then you don't actually need to hack the password, Totino said. I'm guessing you've already gotten it from Tanaka, which means you'll be able to get your hands on the antiviral as soon as you get into that lab. Kanan didn't so much as flinch. The only thing stopping you is the antiviral still in Hitomi Osawa's body. Possessing the antiviral and having a monopoly on it are two very different things. You want to eliminate Hitomi, that's why you lured her down to the scramble. Am I wrong? If that's true, then how am I planning on getting rid of her? Using this so-called substitute Alphard or something. Yes, that's right. Totino couldn't be certain. But he couldn't think of any other way. Kanan let out a laugh. You don't know the first thing about Alphard, she said. Alphard keeps the outlines of his plans blurred so that his deliberate actions just get lumped in with the coincidences. That's the crux of all his plans. That's how he's able to pull off the schemes by himself. How do you know he's not wearing a wig? That may not even be a girl. That might be him. He never solicited help from a third party. How do you know all this stuff? But see, she said she's Kanan, but that's not the same Kanan in the picture. That's why everyone thinks it's her. The words seemed like they were Kanans, yeah. But it also seemed like they were Alphards. Exactly. His gun still at the ready. Totino got out his phone and called Kano. The young detective was quick to pick up. Detective Totino, what's going on? You need to get Hitomi Osawa to safety immediately. Alphard isn't trying to get at her blood. He wants her eliminated. What? Hurry. Yes, sir. Once he gotten Kano's confirmation, Totino hung up. Can you jump? Nope, still can't jump. And now, your little plan has been foiled, Totino said. Kanan snorted. Has it now? If I really am Alphard, then all I need to do is eliminate you here and head right on into that lab. Even without her gun raised, she still radiated intimidation. Totino might have had her at gunpoint, but he could feel the threat of her presence like a gathering storm. Eliminate me, he said, doing his best to mask any sign of weakness. You're the one who doesn't have your gun ready. I don't need my gun, Kanan said simply. And why is that? Because you can't shoot me. What's that supposed to mean? Kanan glared sharply at Totino. Her look pierced him like a blade. Then she quirked an unsettling smile and took a step closer to him. Don't move, he warned. Totino said, try anything funny and I'll make sure you regret it. I don't want to pull this trigger if I don't have to. It's not that you don't want to pull the trigger. It's that you can't pull the trigger. And then take another step closer. You're still traumatized from that time you let your friend's wife die. Oh! How? How do you know about that? Latino was shaking now, his arm wavering. I heard you talking with the younger detective up on that rooftop. That was right. She had been there. Let's test my theory out. Kanan pointed her index finger at her own heart. You think I'm Alphard, then shoot me right here. Huh? The corner of her mouth twisted up. You can't do it, can you? Tino's gun hand shook all the more. You're afraid to pull the trigger. It was as if her words were a spell. That she was casting over. You can't hardly even stand the thought of pointing your gun at someone. Tino shook his head violently back and forth, but he couldn't get Kanan's words out of his head. Just keep Maria safe. That's your job. That's what Stanley had said. He was right. Don't hesitate. Don't think. This was Alphard. A sadistic terrorist. He just needed to trust himself and pull the trigger. Pull it! Oh my! There was a horrid, visceral sound. Gastric fluids rushed up to Tino's throat. He pitched forward into his hands and knees and vomited on the spot. The sensation of pulling the trigger, the recoil, the wake of the shot. It was exactly as it had been all these years ago. He never wanted to fire a gun again. At this point, he'd probably never be able to. Where were you even aiming? The voice had come from right in front of him. Oh no. He looked up to see Kanan standing right there. His heart began hammering like mad. This was the end. He braced himself for oblivion, even as his body cried out to survive. That's it. There was the dull roar of a gunshot, and then silence. So it's, oh my God! Bad ending again, boys! I mean, one last shot. Shoot, man. What the heck? We've already saw this. Okay. But if we send her in, let me try. If we let her talk to Hitomi, right? Let me try. Because I feel like we're not supposed to. It just go back to the original bad ending I had when the explosions. Trust my own judgment. Your own judgment, huh? And that is always correct? Kanan began punching in numbers. Never took her eyes off the tail as she waited for her tone to pick up. She's not answering. Kanan hung up and tried calling again. It's me. Like she'd gotten through this time. The detective doesn't trust me. Apparently he thinks I'm Alphard, not Kanan. For a few moments, Kanan held the phone out to Tino. Here, Tommy says I'm definitely Kanan. Tino didn't reach out for the phone. Instead, he advanced on Kanan with his gun still on his mark. This is a farce. Tommy's words don't mean a thing. You might be Kanan to her, but you aren't to me. I don't even know if there ever was a real person named Kanan in the first place. So maybe you're Kanan, and you're Alphard. Kanan shook her head. If you're really Alphard, then you don't actually need to have... Sure. So that could be a wig. And I'll make you regret it. You can't shoot me. Oh, bad ending still. Okay. This I can't even jump. Here we can jump to Stanley. I could try that. Instead of sending her in. I don't think we're supposed to send her in. I'm getting bad endings all over the place. Let's try this. Let me try jumping to Stanley. Bad endings all over the place, no matter what you choose. Drove along Stanley again, trying to do Alpha's plan of action. If Alphard herself was on the way to the lab now, and what was the objective of the fake who gets sent to the scramble? To act as a decoy? To get Hitomi's blood? To indiscriminate terrorism? A or B to me. I should propose the exchange. No. Wouldn't be as simple as a matter of providing a brief distraction. Careful wipe out almost everyone she'd associate with in the past. That's precisely why all of her defining characteristics such as age and sex and nationality have been unknown. It was unthinkable that she'd allow this decoy who almost certainly knew who she really was to stay alive. And since Hitomi carried the antiviral in her body, Alphard likely wanted to get rid of her as well. Unlikelihood the terrorist mastermind was planning to steal the antiviral from the lab. As long as some of it remained in Hitomi's bloodstream, she wouldn't have a monopoly. Aha! At the same time, the question was how. Beginning with her bombings in Chicago, Alphard had made frequent use of remote-controlled explosives. It was likely that she'd opt for something similar here as well. But she wasn't going to be at the scramble herself. So how in the world was she going to trigger the explosion? I'm telling you, that phone. Was there some clue to be found in something she said or done earlier? Think. Try to remember. Think. Try to remember. If she didn't do something, everyone at the scramble would probably going to die. Yep. That's those bad endings. Then, as he desperately racked his brain, he remembered something Kano had said. It had been while they were at the scene of the minivan explosion together. He said he heard a cell phone ringtone at the time of the explosion. Not sure if that's significant though. Stanley recalled a recent exchange between Alphard and Hitomi. The two had called each other's cell phones. Alphard hadn't really been checking to make sure she had the right number. She'd been checking to make sure Hitomi had changed the ringtone. That was it. The bomb was set to detonate in response to a specific piece of music. Oh, that ringtone plays before it detonates too in the endings. Oh man. And the ringtone on Hitomi's phone was the trigger. Where could the bomb be hidden then? Stanley didn't have time to think. He needed to alert Kano and the others. As he pulled out his cell phone again, he recalled the map of the stakeout positions. Kano would probably be right next to the decoy Alphard. It might be a mistake to call him under the circumstances. Maybe he couldn't risk calling Kano, but he could call Aichi. Stanley dialed Aichi and Do's number. Please don't let it be too late, he muttered to himself as he waited for the call to connect. He called repeatedly. Aichi still didn't pick up. Was he really too late? Stanley dreaded the answer to that question. Keep out. Okay. Thanks for watching. My name is Raven from the Sky. If you enjoyed the episode, drop a like and subscribe to help the channel and the series grow. Take care. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.